Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and felt a sense of, well, dread? Not wonder, not awe, but this deep, unsettling feeling that our place in the cosmos is a lot more fragile than we think. Well, today, we're going to dig into why that feeling might actually be backed by some pretty serious science. So, there's this line, written almost 100 years ago by H.P. Lovecraft, the master of horror fiction. But what if it wasn't just a spooky story? What if it was a genuine warning, one that modern science is only just now starting to piece together? And look, this isn't just about scary stories. We're going to follow the evidence. We're going to piece together some of the most profound and frankly unsettling ideas in modern science to investigate a truly cosmic mystery.
First up, we're going to confront the one haunting question that keeps astronomers awake at night.
Then we'll dive into the deadly answers, the terrifying theories that try to explain it all. From there, we're going to pull at the very fabric of the universe that we think we know. And finally, we'll arrive at a terrible truth that connects the dots between hard science and pure cosmic horror. All right, let's start with the mystery itself. Officially, it's called the Fermi Paradox, but honestly, it has a much better, much more chilling name: the Great Silence. Way back in 1950, the brilliant physicist Enrico Fermi was having lunch and just casually asked this question. It sounds so simple, but it is absolutely devastating the more you think about it. Where is everybody? And here's why it's such a paradox. On one hand, you have the math. Our galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars. There are likely trillions of planets. And the universe has had billions and billions of years to work with. The odds should be overwhelming that countless alien civilizations are out there. But then you look at reality. And what do we see? What do we hear? Nothing. Not a peep. Just this absolute, profound, deafening silence. Now this is where we have to flip our perspective. What if we're looking at this all wrong? What if that silence isn't an empty void? What if it's a presence? Maybe the silence is a kind of merciful shield, protecting our little placid island of ignorance from a reality that is so dangerous, so utterly alien that just knowing about it would destroy us. Okay, so if the silence is a warning, what's it warning us about? Let's get into some of the most unsettling answers that science has come up with. The first idea is something called the Great Filter. Think of the evolution of life as a huge cosmic obstacle course. Maybe the first jump from non-life to life is almost impossible. Or maybe getting to complex, intelligent beings is the real barrier. We really hope that all those filters are behind us. But what if they're not? Because the truly terrifying thought is that the Great Filter is still ahead of us. That would mean our amazing technological progress isn't some triumphant march to the stars. It's a countdown clock. It reframes science itself as a kind of forbidden knowledge. Every new breakthrough just gets us closer to a final, self-destructive test that apparently nobody in the entire galaxy has ever passed. So that leads to a different possibility, a much more paranoid one. Maybe the universe isn't empty. Maybe it's full of survivors who all know one critical rule. The only way to win the game is to not play, to stay hidden. This is the dark forest hypothesis. It pictures the universe as a giant, pitch-black forest filled with silent hunters. In this forest, you can never truly know another hunter's intentions, and since it takes centuries just to send a message, you don't have time to figure it out. The safest move, the only logical move really, is to eliminate any life you find before it has a chance to eliminate you. So in this scenario, silence is the only way to survive. And what about us? All those radio signals, TV shows, and messages we've been beaming out into space for a century? They're not hopeful greetings. They are reckless shouts in the dark, announcing our exact location to every single hunter in the forest.
We are that tiny pulsating dot, just screaming into a cosmos that might be far from empty and far from friendly.
But what if the threats aren't just out there? What if they're right here, all around us? Woven into the very fabric of reality, we just can't see them. Lovecraft wrote all these stories about bizarre entities existing just outside of our normal senses. And it's wild because a century later, modern physics has basically come to the same conclusion. We now know that most of the universe is fundamentally invisible to us. Just look at this. This chart is staggering. Everything we can see, everything we can touch, every star, every planet, you, me, all of it is in that tiny 5% slice called normal matter. The other 95% is dark matter and dark energy. Stuff we only know exists because we can see its gravity pulling on the things we can see. We are, quite literally, living on that placid island of ignorance. This leads us to what is maybe the most reality-shattering idea of them all. What if what we call reality isn't just an incomplete picture? What if it's a complete fabrication? This is the simulation hypothesis, the theory that we are living inside a massively complex computer program. And if that's true, then Lovecraft's Old Ones, those huge, godlike beings beyond our understanding, well, you could see them as the architects of our code, the system administrators of our entire existence. Can you imagine finding a glitch in the Matrix? Seeing the machinery behind the curtain of your own world? The realization that your life, your thoughts, your entire being is just a simulation would be the ultimate horror. It's a total collapse of what it even means to be real, as you realize you're just subject to the whims of some cosmic programmer.
So, where does all this leave us? We've gone through paradoxes and filters, dark forests, and simulated worlds. Let's try to tie it all together and face that final, terrible truth.
It's really incredible when you look at it this way. What started as weird fiction in the 1920s has slowly evolved into a legitimate framework for scientific thought in the 21st century. The nightmares of one generation have become the serious hypotheses of the next.
And here's the real takeaway. Science hasn't made the universe any safer. It hasn't banished the monsters hiding in the dark. It has only given us more precise language and better data to describe the horror. The Fermi paradox is our generation's call of Cthulhu. It is a silent, data-driven signal that something is fundamentally and cosmically wrong.
When you connect these different scientific ideas, the Great Filter, the Dark Forest, the simulation hypothesis, you end up in the exact same soul-crushing place as the narrator of that old story. Our search for knowledge, our scientific quest, has only shown us just how alone and just how vulnerable we really are.
So it all leaves us with one final, haunting question. Given everything we've talked about, the potential hunters, the cosmic traps, the chance that none of this is even real, when we keep shouting out into the cosmos, who or what are we actually hoping will answer?